actually need to switch these out because this is the box that's open that I need. Alrighty. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I should have inboxed her to let her know that I was going to do the live video on. I sent her an email, but I should have inboxed her first to let her know that I was doing a live video on this as well. So hello, 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 everybody. I'm going to do my best to not go off on a tangent where I'm here super, super long. That way people can watch this one back and get the information that they need. Y'all, that's a real big struggle for me to, I see y'all answering questions. So I'm going to ask, well, I'll probably wait till people come on and then I can do it because I'll probably say it now. And then people will ask me a bunch of different questions. So I'm going to hold off a little bit on that. It's getting the notifications out and sending it all out and things like that. All right, cool, cool, cool. Perfect, perfect. I see the numbers going up from all the platforms. You guys are getting notifications and jumping on. I'm going to talk about, it's like a little refresher when it comes to the workforce printers, the 7820, 7840, 7310, which is the new ones. And this really applies to really any workforce printer as far as the chips, but with the other ones, you can reset them. So I'm going to talk about that and just do a refresher on the 812 cartridges and the chips for those printers and those cartridges, okay? All right, so I am Shakia, the professor of Silaholics Anonymous 365 Creative Academy, and Honestly Speaking, which is the product line, our product line of sublimation paper, fast dry and tacky, sublimation ink, pigment ink, heat tape, and all that kind of good jazz. I got a little change of scenery here. I got tired of being in my office and even was doing stuff on the inside, but now it's after 3. Well, not quite after 3 yet, but he's pretty much done for the day. It's only a minute left, so if you don't have your order in, it's gonna go out tomorrow. And so I'm hanging out in his space because I just wanted a change of scenery for the day. But I'm going to go ahead and break down the cartridges and chips for the new workforce printers, okay? The older models of the workforce printer, which is like the 7710, 7720, 7210, 7110, 7610, 7620, 3620, and 3640. They use, well, which if I see, you can't really see them, but they use a much smaller. Okay, I don't know how his little thing is set up in here. I want to mess with nothing. I ain't trying to get in trouble trying to show y'all stuff. Y'all know I'm not supposed to be in here to begin with. But those cartridges are much smaller and they have you are able to reset them. They are auto reset, meaning once the printer reads and it shows an X, you simply take out that one cartridge, just that one that shows an X, take it out, put it back in, and it will read as full. That's the auto reset part. It only does it one cartridge at a time. Or you can get a chip resetter and you can reset all of your chips at the same time. When it comes to cartridge-based printers, the printer does not know how much ink is actually in the cartridge. It is just a vessel to hold the ink, okay? The chip, whether it's the new one or the old style, or ones for expressions, 202s, 212s, for whatever it is, the chip for all printers is what controls it, because there is no weight system for the printer to know how much ink. There's nothing in here that's like a little indicator that lets you know how much ink goes in, like how much ink is left in here. The chip is what controls that, no matter which printer you have or which cartridge it is. The difference is whether or not they're able to be reset or not. You have to think of your chip as like a countdown counter. As new ones, they store a certain number of prints. And as you print, it's like taking away from those prints. So let's say if it starts with 100, when it gets like 25, that's that, indicator that's like in the middle, well, like a quarter down. If it's now you've done 50 prints, the indicator on the level is gonna say half. Oh, you do another 25 prints, it's gonna be 3/4 the way. And then once you get down, this chip reaches 0 prints and you get an X. And because this is a third-party cartridge, it will say cartridge not recognized, because now that chip is basically dead. With the old Epson printers, like I said, you are able to reset those. You take out that one color or the chip resetter, right? Well, there are several models where there is no chip resetter available. There is no auto chip for it. There is no chipless firmware. The cartridges for the 812s, the 812 XL cartridges, which XL is not the amount of, like, not the size of the cartridge, the chip. Because like for the other ones, the cartridge stays the same size, but there are standard chips, XL chips, and then XXL for the black. So when it says XL, it's the chip. The chip is what tells it, it kind of regulates how much ink. If this was like a regular cartridge, it can be filled up with ink, but it's going to output it a different way because of the chip. The chip is what controls everything. All right. I was going to say something and I just went into it. I was like, I'm going to wait for people to come on and then I'm going to say it, but I completely forgot what I was about to say. But anywho, I'll just keep going. So with these, you have to buy replacement chips. So we sell the replacement chips. I need, oh, I do know where it's at. Hold on. So the major difference between the 252s and these, one is the size, but it is also this little circle in the middle. All of our chips, all of our cartridges we have this style, which I always say is the best one because it really regulates the way that your ink outputs. There are 252s that look just like this. They're just open. You see, there is no circle in the middle of it. It's just an open vessel. These over here are not the circles. These are your vent holes. But in the middle, there is none. But on this one, you can see that circle. They all have one. On the other ones, it's a little closer to the middle. I was hoping that there would be a set here so that you can see, but all I see is black. I don't see like any colored ones under here. Oh, crapola. All right. Yeah, I don't see any colored ones. Anywho, so the way that these work, the ink goes, like it sits in here. There is a tube that feeds from inside the cartridge up to the circle. That's how the ink gets in it. If you watch my video on fill and prime, that's what it means to prime, is to get it in the middle. Then there is another line that goes from here to the actual output port. So the ink for these are not coming just from in here and it's just able to just flow out. There is a system that it goes through, and that helps with, not like, because you can fill these up, it helps with like the ink not just like completely just draining out super fast. Whenever I use these, when the cartridge is really low and it darn near says like, is it ready to say cartridge not recognized? Well, the blacks I always have ink, but like with this one, the smaller ones, because you can see that they're much smaller than the black, I normally have like up to here of ink still in there, but it says that it's basically empty. When it comes to these, you want to periodically check them because they don't have a regulator. So you can go and you can print and it might say that you still have 25% of ink, but now nothing's showing up. That's because your cartridge is actually empty. Those two things have nothing to do with one another. The status and the amount of ink has nothing to do with, like, they're not the same. The status can say 25% left and there is no ink in here. On the flip side of that, you can go take your syringe and needle, fill this all the way up. You fill it all the way back up. It's not going to change the status. When they say you don't want it to go, you don't want all your ink to run out, it's not the status. You want to use up all of the prints on this chip. You never want your physical cartridge to be without ink in it, because then you're going to introduce air into your line. So you're going, this one, you have to check, like if it gets to the halfway mark, go ahead and check that sucker, and see where like the ink level is. That's why on all of my printers, I take the doors off because it makes it easier to get to it. So my gray door is off on my 7840 that I use for pigment ink. The door is off of that because it makes it easier to just take it out. Because if the only other way to do it without doing that is to do an ink cartridge replacement. And whenever you do that, it does a print head cleaning. You don't want to waste your ink with the print head cleaning. So I just take it off so that I can always take my cartridges out and inspect them whenever I want. But with these, if you've gone, if you've been printing, you did what you're supposed to do and you fill it up, the status will not change. That will not change until all of those prints are gone. Once they are all gone, you have to have a set of these on standby. And then you take the little clip and you completely take off the one that's on there and put this one on. That is how that works. Okay. So for the 252s, they were interchangeable, like it didn't matter. But for the 812s, each one does have, it's assigned to a certain color. So in the bottom corner, like on this one, it says 812 XLC. The black one says 812 XLK, 812 XLY, 812 XLM. So for the 812s, it tells you which one it goes to. So you cannot mix and match these. So if you go and let's say you ordered a set and you ran out of magenta first and you still have like, you don't have any more, but you have a cyan one, it's not going to read. It has a specific chip for a specific color. All right. So just wanted to remind you guys of that when it comes to these. And then also, of course, always, what's what I'm looking for? Remove these, the vent plugs. So no matter where they are, when you order our pre-fills, we have already changed it over for you. But if you ever order the empty cartridges as a backup, which you do need because these are called dampers and they can go bad and it can make it where stuff just spills everywhere. So cartridges, they don't last forever, ever. And the way that it comes, the vendor made them backwards. So when you go to fill, you'll take out the plug. This is a clear plug. You may think, oh, there's no plug in it. It's just a clear stopper. You can use the top of you can use the needle before you put ink in it and take all of those out. And then you'll fill it. You'll prime it with your cartridges, with your syringes. And then you take all of these and move them to the front. But see, with the 812s, it's already to the front. See, they already have these here, and then the backs have the clear. Don't ask me why. They did them two separate ways because they came from the exact same vendor. But these, you just move the color ones up after you fill and prime it. All right. All of them are black. Okay, so XL again is not the size of the cartridge; it's the chip. All of our cartridges are XL. The chips for all of these are XL. You can even, like, there's a version where there's a black one that looks just like this one, like this size, but it has the XL chip on it. So the size of it is not really indicative of it being XL, because there is another one that is XXL. So it's a 2XL. It's the same size as this cartridge. The chip is different. And what that chip does, it just tells it how much ink to put out. So it regulates it a lot better. So this right here does, because you can have a one that's this big, but the chip is just a regular standard one. All right. So just to refresh, just in case you are joining, because I'm trying to keep this really short, simple, and sweet. When it comes to any cartridges that you use for workforce printers, expression printers, or anything like that, the cartridge is just a vessel for the ink. It is just to hold the ink. The printer will never, ever, ever know how much ink is in here. You can do 10 prints, refill the ink. 10 prints, refill the ink. It will never change the status on your printer or on your computer. It will never change the level status when you're adding the ink because the chip is what controls it. Think of this as a countdown counter. It starts with a certain number of prints, and as you print, it's working its way down to 0. The closer it gets to 0 is how it adjusts that level on your printer and on your computer. Once this reaches 0 and says cartridge not recognized, there is no way to reset these. You must have a set of chips. So this is really no different. The way that they are now, they didn't make it where it was easy, and so many people are used to resetting. This is no different than when you have to buy a new set of cartridges. It's less expensive though, because a set of XL cartridges, if you're going to harvest the chips off of them, cost you $138, $140. These cost you $60. So it is still more economical to buy the chips, and it is a very easy, just swap it out to change the chips. So it may seem like it's a hassle, it's like spending money. This is why I tell you guys, do not print on premium matte. Premium matte is going to utilize more inks. So if you print on plain paper setting for like an 8.5 by 11, plain paper, like regular plain paper is like, 1 print. If you did plain paper high, it might consider that to be 2 prints. Even though it's only 1 print, like just imagine like how the countdown counter works. And if you're using something like premium matte, that can be the equivalent of 4 to 5 prints. So because it's going to put down more concentrated ink. This is why we have this dope paper that produces amazing colors, fully saturated, just using plain paper bright white setting. You're still using summation paper, but it's the setting on the computer. If you use premium matte, these chips are not going to last you very, very long. All right. So you save by using the plain paper setting to make your chips go longer, to last longer. But you do have to have these. There's no way around it. You're going to have to price based off of the fact that you have to buy these. I know at some point, I'm not sure, I haven't talked to even when it's going to happen, but I know at some point we will have it to where you can buy the individual chips, because you might be someone that goes through like a lot of magenta or, a certain color, depending on the designs that you do the most of. So we want to have it where you can order like just a magenta chip, just a cyan, just a yellow, just a black, but I'm not sure if he has it on the site just yet, but that will come. All right. So that's a little recap of how these work. It's now 18 minutes in. I don't want this to be too long. If you have any questions for me, I will answer 3 questions and 3 questions only. So if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section. Marge says, great info. Thank you. You're welcome. Good afternoon, Samantha. Mary. And Ms. Gaiman says, hello, thank you. I just got a 7310 and an 7820. Now, these cartridges also, you can fill them with pigment ink or sublimation ink. So if you're going to use one of your printers as a pigment ink printer, you can put pigment ink in this as well, and the same things apply. It still runs by the chip. It doesn't matter that you're putting sublimation ink in it. It's the cartridge itself. Pigment ink is the same ink that those printers use, but the printer doesn't know that it's pigment ink in there. It just knows that that chip is not a genuine Epson chip. All right. All right, so we don't have any questions. By the time it hits 20 minutes, we'll go ahead and wrap up this live. The 7310 is a pigment ink printer. The ink that comes in that box, in those cartridges, is pigment ink. So yes, it is a good pigment ink printer. This is just a more economical way of using it, because if you were to buy their cartridges to change it out, you're paying hundreds of dollars. This, you're paying, buying a set is like buying a full set of cartridges for $60 because this is the most important part of the cartridge. So yes, it is good for pigment ink. This is the same cartridges for the 7840, 7820, 7310, C7000. Same exact cartridges, 812s. Hello from Texas. I have a 7840, but missed the first part. Going to rewatch from the beginning. Sounds promising. I go through cartridges fast. Yes. So are you using it for regular pigment ink? You're not using it for sublimation. You said you go through cartridges fast, or are you harvesting the chips for sublimation? Okay, so if you're using it for pigment ink, then yes. Go to our website, hsink365.com. And I need to talk more about it for pigment ink. It's like my life becomes consumed by sublimation. But yes, you're going to go and get this, and I'm going to show you our bottles. Hold on. So it's gonna last you, like, if you're going through them, the ink is 140 milliliters. So you're gonna get quite a few full refills. And we sell it with the syringes for you to fill it up. You don't have to take it. I meant to, there's one over there. Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me leave again because there's one over there that's open. So with our tops, everything is made for an eco tank. It was just the easiest way to do it. You put pigment ink in an eco tank? Yes, but it will affect your colors slightly because eco tanks are made for that. But this top right here, you don't have to just poke a hole in it, take your syringe and needle, put it inside, draw the ink out, and then fill your cartridge. So you can refill it with the pigment ink, and then you get your chips. So that should save you some money on that. I don't remember how many ounces this is. I really don't remember. No, we don't sell the 812s pre-filled. No. So she said, yes, talk more about the 7840 and pigment ink. Is it set up the same as far as using the refillable card? Yes, all of that is exactly the same. The only difference is when you're using as a pigment ink, you're going to use up all of the ink that comes in the box because that is pigment ink. So once a color runs out, you only have to replace that one color. You can have a mixture of Epson cartridges and the refillables until you have all refillables. So that's really the only difference. With sublimation, you can't just leave half and half because that's not sublimation ink. You have to you set it up with the Epson cartridges. When you're doing sublimation, you're going to convert it to sublimation or transform it to sublimation. You start with the Epson cartridges. It doesn't mess up the conversion. You start with the Epson cartridges, and then once you set it up, you're going to take all of those out. You have these filled with your sublimation ink. You put it inside the printer. Here's the thing. This is why you have to set up with the Epson cartridges. You don't want to lose prints. Remember, I said that this is controlled, like the output is controlled by the chip. If you don't use the Epson cartridges first, they do not work anymore. So it's not just about making sure that it works. It serves a purpose afterwards. Once you go and let's say your yellow goes out, that set of Epson cartridges, you don't need the ink that's in there, but that chip is the most valuable part. So you're going to take the chip off of the Epson one. You got to shave down a few of the pegs on here, and you're going to put that chip on here. And now you are able to utilize those prints for sublimation because, hey, you pay for them anyway, right? Once the Epson ink runs out because you've modified this chip, you don't try and put another chip on there. You just take the entire clip off and you put a new clip on. All right. Okay, so I said 3, but I'm going to answer this because it's a troubleshooting one. Having issues with my 70, oh, that's 7720. I'm sorry, my bad. I can't answer that one. I thought it was 70. I'm only answering questions for the 7820, 7840, but it kind of is in line. You have to do the push air method. So yeah, the solution means nothing. Watch my video, search honestly speaking spelled like this, because I'm not sure which channel you're on. So honestly speaking, and push ink or push air, and that video will come up, and that shows you how to do that to force the ink out, because you probably have a clog in the line. All right. I'm glad you're doing this. I have been so disappointed because of the chip problem. I wanted it originally for sublimation, but that was when buying them from Epson was expensive. Yeah. So I've done this video quite a few times, but yeah, now it's not as expensive because you don't have to go back. If you get just the standard chips, you only get like a few prints out of that, and you have to keep going back, and those are like $12 a piece. These will last a little bit longer because they are XL. But I will say that even though they're XL, and you would think because this is a longer cartridge, they're not XL like this. This style lasts a really long time. This one, it lasts longer than the standard, but it's not as long as these XLs. But this is a lot less expensive. It's $60 for the full set. This is like buying a new set of cartridges. All right. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. Want to buy you an extra one. Wait, buy me an extra one? Wait, huh? You want to buy me an extra what? I'm confused. Or telling you to buy extra ones? You should definitely always have extras. I mean, that saves you on shipping. So whenever you can buy more than one set, so you can save on the shipping, because no matter what, we do not offer first class. So no matter what, the cheapest to ship these is going to be around $8. Oh, you want to buy an extra printer or buy me one? Because I don't have one set up for sublimation, but I only have it for pigment ink. But with these, no matter what, it's going to cost at a minimum $8 to ship, whether there's one set in here or two sets, because we do not offer first class shipping, which is like the cheaper one. We do everything priority. That way it is insured. So I was going to say, so that way it's insured. It's $8 no matter what. So buy more of them, save on shipping. All right. Yes, we sell the replacement chips. Correct. We definitely sell the replacement chips. This is for the 812s. And they are $60 a set. hsinc365.com. You are very welcome. I love what I do. All right, no, for real, we're at 30 minutes. I gotta go. Y'all say y'all love me, but y'all don't like to watch these long videos. Or the people who love me and like who are true supporters, y'all love my long videos. But I'm trying to also tap into, other people and increase my subscriber count. And when it's super long videos, they turn away. They don't like to watch them. So let me get my butt up off of here. I know my mom's coming here for me to help her with something, and then I have some stuff to submit. So I will definitely see you guys again later, and we can have our regular, hour, 2 hour long Q&A. But for this one, I'm going to sign off now. Thank you guys so very much for joining me live. If you are live, you're watching the playback, thank you for watching all the way through. Don't forget, guys, to hit the subscribe button. Also, tap the bell and change it to all. If you would like to be notified when I go live, because y'all know I'm always coming with something great, you don't want to miss any of the lives, make sure that you hit the bell. And you do have to follow me on all 3 platforms because there's different information. I think on this one, I may have selected everything because it was a refresher about this information. But normally, if it's something about our products, I'm only going to be on HS Inc.'s, well, Honestly Speaking's YouTube channel. So make sure you go to all the channels. I have 3 of them now, and subscribe to all the channels. All right. Yes, this is all this in like in the title. All of these are for the 7820, 7840, 7310. The number on your cartridge says 812. That's what this is for. That's what these say. They say 812. Okay. All right, guys. Until next time. Have a great one. Oh, just in case anyone sees this, there is no chip resetter. I forgot about that. There is no chip resetter for this. That's why you have to get the chips, just in case someone sees your comment. There are no chip resetters for these. Okay. Alrighty. Until next time. Have a great one. Peace.